Hello everyone and welcome to the Social Media Design Challenge review video. I tried to live stream and had some issues with sharing my screen. It wasn't allowing me to share the right screens for you guys, so it ended up being a mess, so we had to end that. So I'm going to do it old school. We're going to record this entire session. I have about 50 plus social media submissions that I'm going to review, and then I'm going to post it on Facebook and YouTube and do some live streaming there, or a premiere, which gives you a chance to interact and make comments while the video is showing. So we can kind of get a live thing going on, but I'm going to do this part pre-recorded. But a few things I wanted to go over with you is if you have a chance and you've enjoyed my classes, feel free to leave a review. I'm on the Skillshare right now. I'm also on Udemy, so make sure you kind of check out those classes if you've taken them, if you've enjoyed them. Just leave a quick review. That really helps me out a lot. And one other little announcement is I do have a new class coming out on Monday, or maybe Tuesday, next Monday or Tuesday, and it's going to be a 10-hour plus digital design masterclass. So it's going to take everything that you need to know as a graphic designer, and it's going to take everything that is digitally related. So we're going to do some digital design theory. We're going to create YouTube thumbnails, a social media campaign, an entire campaign, and that's why I'm doing this challenge, is we get to go do Facebook, our Instagram stories, Instagram posts, Facebook posts. There's going to be everything here that we're going to, basically what this challenge is. I'm going to walk you through step-by-step things to think about, how much text to use, how to pick out photos, how to lay that out. So this is why this is a very good timing in terms of critiquing your social media. We're going to be doing an ebook cover, and we're going to be able to digitize handwritten assets and also use Procreate to kind of do some handwritten typography. We're going to be digitizing sketches. So we're going to take this little alien monster graphic and we're going to be able to take that sketch and digitize it and make it a vector graphic. We're going to be developing a whole icon set. You might have seen this video in the past, but we're going to be able to do an entire icon set in this class. We're also going to be doing an App Store icon as well. And we're going to be doing a website landing page and learning Adobe XD. So this class is massive. So we're going to be learning Adobe XD and doing a website layout, our landing page. And lastly, this is what's a little extra special, is we're going to be doing a WordPress website together using a page builder called Elementor. Because you guys voted, I put it on the Facebook group, you guys voted the most popular client, I guess, builder that you can use for small client websites that you would use where you don't need to have any coding knowledge. And overwhelming, it was WordPress. And the second one was Skillshare, or Squarespace. So Squarespace and WordPress were the top two, but I thought I'd go with WordPress because it had 3 times the amount of votes, and I thought you guys would really like to learn the basics of WordPress and do a small little simple website and learn the Elementor page builder, which is the most popular page builder on WordPress, and it's for free, or the version we use in the class is for free. So enough about that, enough promotion. That's coming out next week. You're going to see some promo videos from that soon. Very excited because it's a digital design class designed for graphic designers. It's not designed for web developers or web designers. It's designed for graphic designers, what you need to know as a graphic designer to excel at all things digital design. So let's get started on the real stuff, the reason why you guys are here. And we have all these different submissions. Let's go ahead and see what we have here. All of these different submissions we have to go through, and I'm excited because there's quite a wide variety of skill level represented. We have some people who have never done a project before, and we have some people who have done the 15th Student Design Challenge with us, which is really exciting. Shake it up and do reverse alphabetical order. We're going to start with Will Bain, and we're going to open these up in Photoshop and see what he has for us here. So we have 3 different graphics. We kind of have a banner ad, we have a vertical banner ad, and we also have what looks to be like an Instagram post, but it could also be a Facebook post. And so we have the square ad, which can also be a face. It doesn't have to be that vertical 1024 by 768 size. With Facebook, you could do a wide variety of post sizes, especially when you do sponsored post. So change your tune. Backstage music. So I think he did the logo as well. I like the logo. I like the balance of this. Let me go ahead and get my pen ready so I can make some edits. There we go, so I can just kind of draw it. So the balance between these two elements is really nice, and the spacing is nice, and you have this really compelling, emotionally drawing photo. And what I like about this is it's kind of got a tight shot. It's zoomed in a little bit, so you kind of have that emotional grab. If this was zoomed out and you saw this big stage with lots of people on it, I don't think I would be as emotionally captured as I am with this. So it's very clean, and a lot of the social media posts you're going to see, you're going to have a lot of text on it. And there's going to be one thing I'm going to say over and over, and that's just work on simplification and trying to say a lot with the text that goes along with the post. Because social media doesn't just exist as a static image unless it's a display ad. It exists with a post or a title or a click now button. There's other text that you can put off your post so you can really have a nice clean image. So as a designer, you always have to go, what can I remove in terms of text? So this is a perfect example of the right amount of text to use. So wonderful job here. Also, they were able to translate this to a vertical space, so it's a very adaptive design. So you have a square space, a vertical space, and it works really well here. And I really love the colors on this one. This one really compels me to click on it. I guess this could be a banner, this could be a display ad. I think this is wonderful. The only thing I would do is really make sure your text doesn't get washed out. So if it's seen at this view, I mean, it could just be a slight drop shadow. It could just be bringing that type out just a little more so it doesn't blend into the background too much. I like how it adapts the colors of the background, so I like that whole idea. Just making sure the type comes out just a little bit more. But the overall colors used here, this is very well put together. So overall, fantastic job, Will. Wendy is next. I went ahead and brought her assets in here, and she did a complete behavioral care company that helps dogs who are aggressive or afraid be able to find counseling and help. This is an Instagram story, and so we have afraid, aggressive, we can help, complete behavioral care. What I might do, I don't know if they have a logo, that always can help, but in this case, not all clients do. So we have like a little bit of a story here and a swipe up to learn more. What I would want to do is somehow this little white box, it does get lost. I almost wish we could somehow tell the story up here in a more condensed format and then have the headline here and then bring in a little bit closer on the dog's face just to have that emotional draw. I like the gradient you have here. That's fine. I think that looks great. I think it works over a full color photo because it helps the text really stand out above it. So that's an Instagram story. We also have an this would be a Facebook ad. So I just make sure if you have any images cropped, just make sure you kind of bring them all the way down so you just don't have the image ending suddenly. Or you can maybe put this in a bar just to kind of break up the entire space. So you put that on a white bar, you could put it on a different colored bar just to break that up a little bit and move this up. So afraid, aggressive, you kind of have this split action going on where you have afraid and then we can have the positive. So this is kind of the negative and then we solve the issue with the positive. So I like the storytelling here. I think that can work. I would almost have more division with this ad. So I would have this almost two-toned or very different where you have afraid, aggressive, and maybe the pinks and the warm tones. And then you have this kind of cool tone colors and blue, we can help. So it's kind of the have a problem, we can help, kind of divided in half. And then of course this bottom bar would have to kind of do something different. But just kind of thinking through and processing through what you're trying to do. And I think you had even a little animated GIF here. Let's see if I can play it. So afraid, aggressive, of course motion and ad design is very, very helpful. So anytime I see motion, it always works better than static images. Not all the time, but it's sometimes nice to incorporate that. So that's kind of the timeline. Let's go ahead and watch it again. So you kind of had my idea that I just talked about. You have this red, grabbing your attention. And then you have this, we can help. It's blue. It's calming. So that's exactly what I was talking about, maybe translating kind of this theme into your other static graphics. So I like to see motion animation, so good job, Wendy. Let's see who's next. We have Vinny. Let's go ahead and bring them in. So they had two different versions of their ad. So this was one where people like to kind of dazzle up using their makeup. And so this, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's Instagram, but she also had Facebook and stories in there as well. But in terms of the overall design, it's very it's on trend. I like this photo, kind of its location. It's very dynamic. I like this little background triangles there. It kind of really ties into this almost retro 80s vibe. What we need to do, this is kind of one of those cases where it goes back to simplification and making sure we say less on the actual post image and say a little bit more in the actual description of the post. So what are the most important elements here? So stop shop, so this is kind of the event. And then this is probably the main seller right here. This is your call to action. So this middle box would probably be what you want to focus on the most. And the where to win, some of this, when you have event marketing, you can get away with a little more text. You will run into some troubles if you do paid ads. This would be a great organic post. With paid ads, sometimes, especially on Facebook, they will come back and say you need to remove some text, because they don't allow more than 20% of the image to be covered with text. So you might have to kind of eliminate that. What you could do is have the logo, kind of do the makeover marathon down here, and if the 20% off is the most important part, you can do that as well. So just kind of finding ways to simplify. This would be fine as an organic post because you could put as much text as you'd like. But just finding ways, because when I look at this big block, all of it seems essential, so it'd be hard to kind of eliminate it, but as a viewer seeing it for the first time, it could be a little overwhelming. But I love the overall design and aesthetic, that no issues there at all. I think it's just the amount of type used. And so we have a series now, this makeover marathon for the next 3. Let me see if I can get rid of this timeline. There we go, that gives us more space. So I think I like this aesthetic a lot more. You have things broken up. It's not all on one column. So you kind of have something over here. You have something over here. They're not competing with each other. And you also have this down here. So I think I really like the way this is laid out quite a bit. And I would almost wonder if you can do, this is a flat lay photo. And I almost wonder if you can extend that out, and I don't know. I think I like it here. What I would do is make sure this texture is high resolution. It looks a little bit blurry. That could be just the way the image was saved, so make sure that's crisp. Doesn't look like a texture that you used on default application, that it's a texture you bring in. That would be somehow related to makeup. But I like this so far. I like this layout a lot. Okay, so this one is a different take, and I kind of enjoy, instead of having that white texture, this little pink solid color just seems to clean everything up a bit, so I like this even better. It seems the more I go through yours, the more I like them. So this is probably an even better version. You could even kind of clean that up. I know what you're kind of doing with the makeup texture. I would probably remove the drop shadow there on that, just to kind of eliminate that drop shadow, but I think I like the way it's cut out. I like the way this where and when is in pink instead of white. I think that really stands out amongst the background. So I like this probably the best. I think that's just another version. We're going back in time. So great job. I think this is a really good start. I would just think about simplification and trying, if you have this big block of type, and let me go back to that original one. We go back to the original. It's maybe just having everything clustered in the same column is what is overwhelming, not necessarily the amount of information. As you've proven, you are able to kind of break that up in the other versions that you have. So let's see who is next. Vikram. So let's see what Vikram has. He has 2 different versions for us today. We have a buy one, get one free. I don't have this labeled as whether it's a Facebook or Instagram, but it could really exist on this size as anyone. And my digital design masterclass, I'm going to have some great templates that gives you all the different sizes that you can post for Facebook and Instagram. So you can already have those ready, so you know kind of the most optimized size for your post, because I've seen posts all over the place in terms of sizes, and they've been very forgiving lately, social media platforms, about sizing, but there's always these optimal sizes you can use. So buy one and get one free. Well, the first thing I would do is make sure this is connected a little bit better, so tighten the spacing between the headline and I have no problem with the background photo and product photo. I think that looks really good. I would maybe bold this a little bit because this needs to really be brought out. So let's see, that's the offer valid, so buy one, get one free. So what I might do is just bold the type there. You can keep that the same size. But this is where contrast can really come in handy because you have a yellow box here. The product is kind of in the same family, and you have a lot of yellow. So what we can do is we can use blue and reverse this out. So this is the most important thing right here. So why don't you make the tag blue, or whatever this yellow box is, and make that yellow text, and that blue will all of a sudden really pop out instead of blending in with everything. So I think if you just reverse these colors right up here, then you can use contrast to your advantage because you only have a couple seconds on social media, so this is when contrast is absolutely necessary. So here's the second one, Thirsty Thursday. You have some interesting type choices. I know with this you kind of have some odd kerning here between your type. This seems like a bigger gap than this. It just seems a little different. So I would maybe make it all caps. Maybe that'll help out with this typography a little bit more. Maybe it's the kind of the cut that's bothering me because only some of them are cut. It doesn't seem like a consistent typeface, but I don't want to focus so much on that. So maybe bolding that up, maybe making it all caps. So quench your thirst with all your might. So the photo's great. The balance is fine. We need some kind of purpose. So Thirsty Thursday is the purpose. I guess there's got to be some kind of company logo unless you want to put that as part of the post. So Thirsty Thursday for what? Is it free? Is it a buy one, get one free? What's the offer here? So we really need to know what the offer here. Quench your thirst. This could be kind of an opportunity to put that in the comments. And this will give us a chance to say what it is. So Thirsty Thursday, come by 4 p.m. to get a buy one, get one free drink. So that's what would probably need to be on the actual image, and you could put this quench your thirst stuff. You can put that in the comments. So it needs a purpose, it needs a drive, it needs a call to action. It needs to point somewhere. But the photo is excellent. I have no problem with the photo and the balance of everything. I would probably bring the Thirsty Thursday about here, just to kind of bring it a little bit closer to the photo. You can even have a chance to do layering mask and put the little straw over the S if you want, that kind of stuff, just to kind of make it a little bit more rich. So let's see who is next. Let's see what we have next. I want to grow this old with you. Okay, so I didn't read it correctly at first, but here it is. I want to grow this old with you. So kind of just a quote post, kind of something fun. You would put maybe not a paid ad, but something that you would just do an organic post. So in terms of the balance, this is what I like. Is okay, you have this circle, which is great, and then you have kind of this play where this woman fits perfectly with the circle. So you can see this puzzle piece action going on. It works really well. You don't have any kind of awkward gaps. And so the only thing I would say is I know I like to do font pairing and font mixing, but there's some cases when it could look a little disjointed. So you have the I and a serif, and a with you and a serif as well, and this and a sans serif. What I could do is just kind of keep it, you can keep the same kind of alignment, but what I might do is I want to focus on, I want to grow this old with you. So to read it well, the words that you really want to focus on is this old. So I want to grow this old should probably be the thing that's highlighted with you. And I would probably keep it the same typeface. You might want to say, you could put grow in a script typeface, or you could pick one word that might be a little bit different, and that might shake it up a little bit. Okay, let's see who's next. Ooh, I like this a lot. I know some of you guys, English is not your first language, so just kind of double check your spelling. Just special, there's a kind of an E missing, or it could be a different spelling of that in another country. So just kind of double check some of your spelling. But in terms of the layered look and the layout, this is really, really strong. What I like about this is you kind of have this really cool simple shapes. These are very popular to do these oblong shapes. And you kind of have this mixing of the products. So let me zoom in here so you can really see it. And there's great shadowing here. Everything about this left side is well done. I like the way they present the products and the different layers, very strong design. And over here, they kind of bring that element over so they can have consistency in the whole entire ad. What I might even do is simply, you have this is so beautiful over here. I would focus on that more. I would extend that out just a little bit more, maybe over to here. And I would not even have this background texture because I don't think you need it. You got a lot of round kind of shapes over here, and then you have this boxy diamond background texture. So I would just get rid of the background and have it be white and clean, and kind of make this a little bit bigger because you're kind of showing off the product. So the product is a big part of this ad. I like the typography, and I like kind of how this has a little bit of division and spacing. Great font mixing and font pairing. I think this is really good. Just double check your spelling. Maybe remove the background and put more emphasis on the beautiful product photos. And I think you got a winner. You got a really good post here. Okay, we have a couple more from the same person. So this is kind of got that attention grabbing yellow. And one thing you want to do is the yellow and the orange, to me, just from a color theory perspective, they're kind of analogous colors, so they're close on the color wheel, but there's something about yellow and orange that really fight against each other. So what I would do is I would commit to yellow or commit to orange, or use a complementary color, which is opposites on the color wheel. So what would be opposite of yellow? That would usually be blue. So you might want to maybe make that blue so the contrast between the yellow and the tag is strong enough so they don't blend or fight with each other. So that's kind of my first suggestion. I like the overall layout. This bottom part, you're really good with typography choices. This whole bottom part is perfect. Once again, just double check your spelling. And with the product photos, you're probably selling, so there's a new collection. So we want to make sure we don't cover this background photo with this. What is the focal point? There's two focal points here and they're fighting against each other. So how can we change that? We can either eliminate this photo altogether and just keep the yellow background, or have a series of photos like this. So you have kind of one here and one here if it's a series, just like that. You don't want to have them overlap where you can't see the details of the front of the shoe, because people who are big into buying brand new shoes, they want to see the entire shoe. They don't want to see it halfway covered up. Just finding a way to make that clear and to have one focal point. Okay, so this is a whole series, and seeing them all together, you get to see the thematic branding in all this, and I think this is really, really strong. This could be a viable social media campaign for a real client, and maybe it is. Once again, contrast can come to save the day. So what's the most important part about this ad? Is it 20% off? 20% off a luxury vehicle is kind of a big deal. So what we want to do is really highlight the 20% off, because if I were to scroll through this on a desktop and I see blue, 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 my eyes will just glaze over. So what we can do is use those complementary colors and make this little blue 20% off. We can make it red. We can make it yellow. We can make it just a really high contrast color opposite of blue to really make that offer pop against all this other blue. And it looks really fantastic, themed and branded. And this would make a great flyer, poster. But when it comes to social media, you have to use those high contrast colors a little bit more than you would other kind of print design, where you have more time to get the viewer. But the layout of this is really good. The photos are really good, and how you adapted it to a vertical, horizontal, a square. You adapted it to the three main sizes, and so that means you have a very flexible design and flexible branding, and that is a key test to having a great solid design and branding work. So well done. I love this a lot. I love the tag up here. I think it all looks really cohesive, and it works all together as a team and as a branded campaign. All right, let's see who is next. We have a couple here. So we have the bees. So this is a little bit low resolution, but sometimes that's not your fault because Facebook will downgrade it. So donate, bees, save our species. So this is a save our species, save the bees, they're dying kind of thing. So this is a donate. So the donate will be your biggest call to action. So what I might even do is put donate up here. Go start with donate and then save our species. So we want to we need to simplify this somehow. So because right now I look at it, I see a bee, then I see the logo, then I see the type. I just see a lot. So we need to somehow kind of rethink this ad. I think the design and the background's great. We just need to kind of simplify. So what I might do is take this little logo, maybe put it up here on the top, separate that, and save our species is probably pretty important to this ad. So you could even have save our species pretty big, have the little diamond right down here, And then maybe you could keep the donate here, or you can switch these elements around. But just trying to find a way to reduce the amount of stuff in the center honeycomb so that this doesn't all just blend together. We need to separate those elements a little bit and have a little bit of hierarchy with our elements. But I do love the background photo, the idea of the honeycomb shape, and the colors. It all makes sense. And here's another version. So what I might do with this one is I'll kind of rethink that typography choice, and I need to reduce the size of my brush here. There we go. Let me start over. Kind of rethink the typography, because you have this really soft, feminine script typeface, but you have an emergency. It's save our species. So you want to use this bold sans serif or decorative type, something that is really strong and bold, maybe just with this top headline, kind of changing that up and making this a really simple, Helvetica or something really simple in terms of sans serif, and then making that a super bold one up top. Just to kind of, because this would be great if you were selling garden equipment. So help us with 3 things in the garden: plant native flowers and shrubs. So it's kind of something you can do, but it's it's more of an emergency and a little bit less of a, this is gardening. So just kind of some thoughts from a kind of grabbing attention perspective. You need to think about your target audience. Who is your target audience? Is it mostly women? If so, you can get away with a more feminine look. Is it gender neutral? You just got to think about that target audience, and that'll help you craft and choose your typefaces. All right, Sonia, let's see what you got here. Okay, I got this one last minute, but I thought it was really cool. I didn't have a chance to look at it in detail, but now I can. So let's go ahead and go back to the first one that opened. And I believe these are Instagram stories. And look, she already has this kind of plugged in and live. So this is for Doughboys. So now open 25% off. This is a really fantastic swipe up Instagram story. It's very simple. There's nothing. You have this nice high contrast, what I've been talking about this whole time. You have this pink on black and it pops out, but there's not too much pink that it distracts. So it's this perfect contrast here. I like this outer glow here because it kind of reminds me of the now open sign on Krispy Kreme or other donut shops that have this kind of outer glow neon signs. So I think that's very fitting and very trendy. Look how simple this is. You have your logo, you have your call to action or the so what kind of statement, and you have a nice visual here, and then you have your action. So everything is nicely aligned, very clean. This is wonderfully and well done. Okay, this is another version. I think this version works too. I like the higher contrast of the black, but the pink is a nice option. It's not quite as high contrast because you also have the pink, the lighter pink competing with the pink, but it's aesthetically very beautiful and softer. So it's got a little bit of a softer approach to it, and I like the contrast. Okay, and here's another picture of it in the black version. So I definitely think that's probably more effective, but this just has this softer, it makes me a little more hungry. This is just when it comes to psychology. Is this, from a graphic standpoint, should work the best. But this makes me more hungry. Maybe it's the pink icing compared with the light pink background. This makes me a little bit more excited about the fun kind of donuts, not just plain donuts, but the kind of donuts they probably sell there. So well done. See what we have here. We have a Facebook post, I believe, ready for the change. So the first thing I look at this is I see a compelling image, and then I see this headline kind of way far small over to the right, ready for change. What kind of change is it? Is ready for a New Year's resolution because I see fireworks? What kind of change? The so what? I need a so what headline. So ready for change, blah, 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 blah. We need something to kind of follow with that to kind of say why and why should I care. One thing you could do is this has got some nice space here. So you could even put your headline here or something. It just seems like it's lost over here all the way small, tucked over to the right. So making that more of an attention-grabbing headline might really help with this. I see some photo manipulation, which looks really good, but we need to kind of make sure he looks a little stretched, tall-wise. So maybe there's something that happened with him being stretched. And you want to make sure he's placed in the environment. So right now he's got a blue glow, but there's a lot of red fireworks, so you're not getting kind of the red he just looks like he's placed into the background. He's not actually there watching the fireworks. So you can do that easily by having some red glow, doing some blending modes and kind of bringing in that red on him so he feels like he's more belonged into the background. All right, Sarah. So this is an entire series. Let me see if I can't make this a little bit bigger. A minute to kind of load all your images into Photoshop. We have kind of a series here. So she took her own photos. So this is her own photos that she took of the products, which is really impressive in my opinion. Anybody who does their own photography is a fan in my book because it kind of makes it more real, authentic, organic, which I think they said that's kind of what they wanted the brand to be, which is exactly what they're doing. They're really hitting their target audience. So I can appreciate that. So this would be, looks like it's in a paid Instagram post. So spicy and healthy, you said. Charlie the Chili offers you yummy, healthy, and spicy food inspired from Asian and Mexican recipes. Try it now. So a couple things we can do. I like the layout of the circles. What I might do is kind of break this up. We need to kind of break this up a little bit. Spicy and healthy, you said. Let's make that on 2 lines and make it a little bit bigger. And then the try it now can be somewhere down here in like a box. Because right now all this blends together as one kind of paragraph, but they're different. You have a call to action here, which can be kind of in a button. And then Charlie the Chili, you want to make sure people read that. So you don't want to make it so small that people write it off and they don't read it because it's kind of clever and it tells them what you did. So I think having a little bit of type hierarchy here, so making this bigger, putting this in a box, just trying to differentiate these 3 little boxes of type to make them unique and different. And you can use these dividing lines here to help you do that as well. So you can have maybe dividing lines here for the headline, then you have the smaller, and then you have the try it now. Maybe the try it now button can extend outside of the box so you can have more of a layered look. Just kind of some thoughts and ideas. So here's the logo they did, which looks great. Ooh, I like how this the, I know we're not doing logo design, but I appreciate this the and the Charlie. I think it just looks really nice, almost fits together like a puzzle piece. And they have that background texture they did. So this would be, I guess this would be Facebook, probably. This looks more like a Facebook, that would probably be white. But I like the boxed look of this. I would, when it comes to photography and social media, you gotta make it big. This background texture is just a background texture. People are not going to care as much about those subtle design things as they are the very obvious ones. So the biggest thing in the photo gets the most attention. So what I would do is, the selling point is the photo of the food. So I would definitely extend the food photo out much more. And then even get your photo extended out and do a little bit less of the texture, because I think this background would look great on print design, magazine ads, but when it comes to social media, people don't have time to digest all that little stuff. You need to make it super duper obvious. So just making the photography more of a focal point would really, really help here. And I think maybe even making, if you lessen the background texture, you can even make this that bright red to really pop in that headline as well and to give you more contrast. But I like these overall. Well done. Let me kind of take a look at those. Here's another one. So this looks like an Instagram story. You kind of have a swipe up or share. I think this is fine. I think the photo, what we could do is separate the photo and the headline. So we can have the bowl come right up here and have it be full 100% opacity. We don't want to reduce the transparency on that bowl of food. We want to make people really hungry. When people are flipping through Instagram, it's usually their lunch break or right before their lunch break. So you want to keep that in mind. You want to have maximum hunger. You want to really entice them to be hungry. So have a 100% full opacity photo, maybe the bowl curves like this, and then kind of move this a little bit up top so that they don't overlap, so you can afford yourself to make it a full color, full opacity photo. So just kind of some thoughts from that standpoint. But the typography looks fantastic, and your photo choices, of course you took the photos, are fantastic as well. All right, so Sarah is next. Let's see what Sarah has for us. We have a couple different versions. I think one is a little more updated. So I think this is the original one, and it's got a lot of kind of busy texture going on there. So let's kind of look at some other ones. So here's 2 new ones. So we have 2 new ones. So you're probably going to already pick out which one I'm going to like better. Which one do you think is more effective? That one or that one? And I'm going to tell you right away, it's going to be this one. This one looks really clean and simple. Complementary colors, yellow, orange, and then purple are complementary on the color wheel, so you got maximum contrast there. You have this nice, beautiful fade. It looks professional. You even have like a little bringing out some of that purple from down here up in the photo as well, so I can really appreciate that. Logo looks good. Everything has nice spacing, and that's compared with the other version, which has kind of effects on it and stuff. So you have this little stroke, you have kind of this blocking the girl, and you have all this texture and all that stuff. Look how clean this is. So much better. And I know we always want to have background stuff going on. We want to add all this design stuff, but sometimes the most simple ones are the most effective, not the ones that have lots of stuff going on. So definitely enjoy this one. I think this is really well done. Okay, let's bring in this one. I'll try to pronounce I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name. Shaksham, I think. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but I got yours saved in here. So wishing you a happy and prosperous 2020. Best wishes. The typography is excellent. This little block of copy is great, but it needs some kind of, so this would be kind of your focal point. But I think we can make it, I don't know, we need people or some kind of, we need a so what. So wishing you a happy and prosperous 2020. Maybe we can have something here, like a little thing that's shooting out, celebrating, maybe a glass of champagne, maybe, I'm just trying to think whatever you associate with the new year, New Year's resolution, a person's face, people happy. We could kind of have that opportunity because you have this beautiful texture right here, and I like it. And maybe that's what you're highlighting as a designer. Maybe you created the texture and that's what you're highlighting, then it's great. But if you're promoting something else, you have this wonderful empty space of repeating texture that you could really take advantage of. But I like the color. The typography is excellent. I'd be a little worried about the smaller type, but as long as it's readable. If it's not readable, you could just omit it, or if it's important, you could put it in the comments section of your post instead of trying to put it on the image. Okay, Ryan. So I have two versions here. This is the original. I'm going to show your older one just to kind of show kind of the changes that you made. So this is the original. You have this kind of high contrast, really busy texture banner going across. And I like this kind of two-toned look. Everything looks good. But yeah, it's a little busy. But you got some great feedback and great comments, and you were able to get a final version that was much more clean. And I think this works really, really well. I love your contrasting colors here. I like this pink and red. It just looks really good. And I almost wonder if you can, and this bar looks great. I love this high contrast bar. It kind of breaks up a top and a bottom section. You just don't have the same, I don't know, it just works. I think if you didn't have this bar, the logo would get lost. So since you have that little different colored bar, the logo can pop out a little bit. I think there's got to be, maybe even more simplification you can use, and maybe a little bit less of the glow, and finding a way to maybe do drop shadow or something. I know you're trying to get it to, you have a dark kind of album cover on a dark background, so you were trying to use the outer glow to get it to glow, but I almost wonder if there's something else we can find that is a little bit better than the outer glow. For some reason, it's just it's a little too much outer glow, and I'm being very picky here because this is a really great ad. I mean, even so, you see this like little thing behind the 2X, this kind of texture coming out. That would be kind of something good to do instead of the outer glow. That would look really good, kind of that grunge texture. But I think this looks really good. The colors are nice. You can even brighten the background photo. You can afford it since these are kind of, at least these are dark. But well done. Okay, so this is a YouTube thumbnail. So Home Jenny 2020 Super Bonanza offers. So you definitely have the contrasting colors here with the orange and the blue. And I like the setup where you have kind of your type or headline and you have your image. I think the layout is fine. I think the size of everything is fine. You can even make the genie just a tiny bit bigger. But yeah, I mean, it's clean. I just have to know kind of I think what would help is maybe instead of doing the red, you can have that be white. And I think that would help a lot more with readability of your type. And you can even make it just even slightly bigger. Just make it a little bit bigger here, kind of so that people can really make sure they read it. Because when you're on YouTube, those thumbnails It depends on what version you're on. If you're on the desktop, those YouTube thumbnails are tiny, and you got to really make sure this can be readable on those really tiny, tiny thumbnails. So just kind of making sure that you kind of increase the readability of your type. The genie's fine. I think it'll work okay. Okay, we have two here. We have a Facebook and a YouTube. Okay, so this would be YouTube. So this would be for a YouTube video. So this is a make your mock-up edges crisp with shapes and affinity photo. And I do a lot of tutorials. I have affinity photo tutorials as well. And what's really nice when you have a thumbnail on YouTube is to put the logo of the software you use as one of the prominent pieces of your thumbnail, because people may not read, they're probably not going to read this whole title. And if they do, they're going to just read the title of the video. So remember, you have that title of the video that rests right below the YouTube thumbnail. So I would find an opportunity, maybe put the Affinity Designer logo here, and then just have mock-up, make your mock-up edges. Find a way to simplify that and just have a couple words right here below. And so the focus will be on the software, and then the before and after is great because you get to kind of see that. Or even better, when you have before and afters, sometimes it's nice to keep them together. So you could even, I like this format here, or let's see if I can go back, and you could put the after book here so they're together, and then put kind of that After Effects logo and something really small and type, like just 2 words, 3 words, and because you can put the long formal title below the photo. So that's what I would do in this case. So this would be your Facebook, join us live. What I might do is make this a solid color box and put live in white so that you don't have this lost in the background. And once again, make your logo, instead of having it be a transparent background, I would make it full color and try to find a way to reduce some of this. So on YouTube, all this could be in your comments. You're not going to need a link on here. So if you eliminate that, then you can probably have a chance to, maybe shift this over here, and then you can have that full color logo. We need to kind of simplify this a lot. Learn how to turn graphics into mock-ups for free using stock photos. Once again, we can simplify this into maybe a 2 or 3 word phrase and put the rest in your comments. So kind of getting things off of the image and into the comments will really free this up and clean it up a little bit. Okay, next. So here we are next. We're going to go ahead and load theirs into Photoshop. So we have a holiday, this is an Instagram story, holiday special, extra 50% off on designer purses. And I think we can simplify this. I know that's the theme over and over, is simplification, but it's really important to be clean when it comes to social media. So I like everything about it, but let's, instead of having this high contrast black bar and or not black bar, but circles kind of overlapping, what if we, I know it's a little boring, but what if we made all of this gray and you didn't have this kind of overlapping effect? I know that's popular, but I think it makes readability an issue, and it kind of adds this extra design element that can distract as opposed to helping one focus on what the important part is. So I would kind of get rid of the two-tone. What you could do is you could have the white, then you can have another black one kind of background. You could still have it, just not have it cut through the type, and I think that'll clean the type up a little bit. The photo is very compelling emotionally. You're putting the product right there in the center, so the photo is perfect. And the logo here is a great size as well, so I think all of this on the top half is perfect. And we have some different kind of, this doesn't say what it is, but I could just assume it's kind of a banner ad. You have kind of this layering, which looks nice. Happy holidays, flat 50% off. So these compete with each other. So you have this and this. Is it a happy holidays or is it a 50% off? So it's probably a little bit of both. So what we could do is, I like her in the center. So we just need to differentiate this type and this type somehow. So happy holidays can maybe be a little more subtle, and then keeping this as a super thing. So what you could do is probably put this on a background, flip that to white, and so you still have both, but they're differentiated a little bit. So they're not the same italicized, bold typeface. So just trying to find a way to differentiate that. And make sure your logo you might want to do black. Since you're doing black type, you can match the black logo with your black type right here. So here, I think the click here depends. If this is a Facebook ad, that's going to be already included in the bottom here, so you don't have to have a click here. So we have a holiday special, extra 50% off on designer purses. We can have some kind of call to action, but we don't need to have a click here button. So if you eliminate that, it'll clean this up quite a bit and look pretty good. So I believe that is it for those. So let's go ahead and move on. Wow, we have a lot here to go. So Niels, you are next. So for yours, it was hard to kind of get, you had 50 images you sent me, but I thought of an idea of how to properly critique yours because it's hard to kind of see it with these smaller images. I decided just to open up Instagram and look at it on Instagram. So here we are, Epic Stellar Design. So this is kind of a total thing you did here. Wow, that's pretty impressive that you got all that in the right order and posted them. And I know this was hugely popular a couple years ago when people were really visiting profile images. If you ever look at, if you have a business page on Instagram, and if you ever look at the engagement of your post, you can see how many actually visit your Instagram profile. You can see how many people visited your WordPress website. It's very helpful to have that extra business analytics. That's when you have a business Instagram account, which anybody can really get. You don't have to have a certain amount of followers. What I've noticed with me personally is I get a lot less profile views and I get more individual post views. So that means not as many people are going to see this beautiful crafted image as you would think they would. So I think it's kind of gotten less in popularity because people aren't going to the profiles quite as much. They're kind of going down the rabbit hole and looking at individual posts and doing that. But I really appreciate kind of the effort that it took to kind of get all this in here and to get all this loaded, because it looks really nice. This whole layout is beautiful and stunning. So really good layout work and design work that you're posting here. And so you have another one. I think that's the same one. We have another one. Here we go. Film poster. So I love your film posters. They're fantastic, by the way. And you kind of have this background theme to all of them, and I know a lot of poster designers do that. But when you have really busy posters or you have detailed posters like you have, I would even just not even have this border, and I would extend this background out just to make it really, really clean. So people aren't distracted by the border, and I know it's part of your branding and part of your theme, but I think that's a simplification thing you can do to make it even more clean. So just kind of some feedback. But go ahead and check out his stuff. There's his Instagram. Check it out. Look at it. He does some really fantastic poster design work. All right, so we have Mohammed is next, and we have kind of your basic Facebook post. So we have basic X, take it easy, more colors, shop now, more sizes. And so when I first saw this, I wondered if it was a web mock-up, because we have kind of almost these call to actions, more colors, shop now, more sizes. So what do we want to do? Is it more colors, more sizes? Because this is a call to action, and these are just statements. So what I might do is do more colors and more sizes, maybe down here, more colors and more sizes, and have your shop now button be bigger down here. So let me get rid of all this prior stuff. So shop now, you're not going to need to have the URL because that's going to be down in the post. So you can get rid of that, have shop now right here, and move the more colors and more sizes, maybe here, more colors, more sizes, or have more colors, more sizes, something to kind of break all this up, because you don't want people to confuse this to being 3 separate call to actions, because they're not. These are statements, and this is a call to action right here. So just kind of thinking more about that and thinking more about how these Facebook ads work. You don't have to put as much detail on these because you have a whole description and you have a headline that you could also use as part of your post. But I do like the yellow shirt. The photo choice is compelling. This Take It Easy could be a little bit bigger so that you could kind of pair the yellow shirt with the yellow Take It Easy. And I like the yellow. I would probably match that yellow down here in the bottom and make sure that green shows up. If you have to make it solid black, that might be one of those situations where you need to make that little green icon down there solid black to show up above the yellow. So we have Mia or Maya, just depends on how you like to pronounce it, but I went ahead and brought her photos in, and this is an entire campaign that's very thematic and looks really good together. So we have the winter mid-season sale, so we have up to 40% off. So I like kind of how you see the woman, and it's a very good framed photo, and this is one of the few cases I really like to see the border there. I think it adds a lot and really kind of frames her face. The only thing is I want to definitely make sure, it depends on what they're selling, probably jackets. So you want to make sure you have a clear view of the product. So it could be that you move her up a little bit, or you find a different photo that has the product in full view. But honestly, in this case, I think it works. I don't think you need to switch it out. And let's kind of see your whole campaign together. Help your skin through the cold. So very nice cropped photo. And I like how it's dulled down. It's kind of got a duotone, kind of gradient kind of effect to it that looks really nice. I think this looks good. For this one, we probably need a so what, but that could be in a button somewhere else off of the image, so that's okay. There's kind of an Instagram post, and this is the Instagram size, so this looks really good too. I think the only kind of, not criticism, but kind of some constructive feedback I have is, once again, contrast can be your friend. So you have this blue box, but it blends in with this blue background. If you were to make this a different color that really pops out, I think that sale 40% off will really, really stand out, because that's what you want people to kind of scroll through and see. This is where contrast is your friend. But I love the campaign overall. I think it looks really, really good. And here's all of it together. So you can kind of see Instagram post, Facebook, Instagram story. So once again, if you just kind of change the color of that button, I think you have a winner. All right, so Kumar. We got a Facebook and an Instagram post here. So Dr. Care, the moment a child is born, the mother is also born. So happy Mother's Day. So just kind of make sure you kind of close the gap there, because that seems like a wide gap. So just kind of bring day up here. So the moment a child is born, okay, so happy Mother's Day. So Dr. Care must be kind of who is sponsoring this, and it's going to be probably an organic post. So I think this is great. I think the colors are fine. The moment a child is born, a mother is born also. Maybe kind of make this tiny bit bigger. Sometimes using a real photo maybe of a woman holding a newborn baby could be more of an emotional draw than the illustration. Just kind of thinking out loud, trying to think about everything here. I think the illustration's cute and it works really well. The colors, you're bringing out the colors and the type, which I really appreciate. And you're bringing out kind of the green here, and you're bringing out the pink. So I can appreciate you doing that. Just kind of experimenting with, maybe something with the mother seeing the child for the first time and thinking about the emotional grab. And as a woman, I can kind of maybe connect more with a real photo in there. But I think this overall is a really great design. So we have another one. This is the same company, Dr. Care. This World Blood Donation Day. Come forward to help for the cause and serve the humanity. So 14th of June, so I would just from a typography standpoint, there's a large gaps between that. I would just close that. Anytime you have numbers that read as one number, you don't want to have too much gap there, so just kind of close the gap. We could probably reverse that and make, instead of, the register now you may not need, if it's a paid post, you could put that at the bottom, so that'll save you some room and give you a chance to make your headline a little bit bigger. So you guys are doing a really good job here. Lots of variety. So now I'm going to go ahead and pause this and start off again with Kanika. All right, Kanika, let's go ahead and take a look at your different versions. You have a couple of different versions of yours. So this would be your Facebook post, or it looks like I titled it YouTube. So this would be YouTube. Five best Mexican eats. So I like this a lot. What we need to do is, with YouTube, the title means everything. So the 5 best Mexican eats kind of gets a little bit lost. This would actually make a really good Facebook post. But in terms of YouTube, what we need to do is probably go down here. We probably need to make a title. So what we can do is we can have this be smaller, the Twisted Mezzo, and have the 5 best Mexican eats. Hopefully I titled this right, that it is a YouTube. So if it's not a YouTube, then I apologize. So the photo can be full screen, and then you can have kind of this, just to make sure this title is a little bit more readable. And that's kind of, because when you're scrolling through YouTube and you see kind of this picture of tacos, you're going to wonder, well, what is that? Is it a cooking show? Is it a top 5 thing? Like, what kind of video is it? You need to kind of make that fairly obvious. So we have another one. This is nice and simple. Taco about a party. So it's clever, it's funny, spicy, savory, spectacular. This is perfect. I wouldn't change anything. I think this is a great ad. For more information, please call. So you might want to have a website to order, but I guess if a phone number is all they have, then that's all they have. And I think this could probably be moved to the comments section. You might not need to have that on the actual post itself if you don't want to, but I think this is really good and perfect. I think the black works better in terms of readability than the red. But I love your geometric designs. I can appreciate that. I like the triangles and everything looks really, really good. Mexican Taco Tuesday, we need to find a way to eliminate something. So enjoy a savory Mexican feast. So this is your main focal point, so that's fine. You could even make that bigger. So all you can eat tacos, that's kind of a big deal. All you can eat tacos, that needs to be really big. So what if we made like a little circle? All you can eat tacos, and so you won't need that anymore. And so a couple of this can be in the comments, so we can kind of eliminate some of this information, and that'll simplify it a lot, because we want to make the most important thing about this is Taco Thursday. What makes Thursday important is the all you can eat. So just kind of separating that out and putting the all you can eat there. Here's another situation where we could probably simplify this a little bit more. The photo's fine. The layout and the typography is of course fine. Just finding ways to simplify it. So let's have the perfect meal. That can be in the comments. Oriental rice bowl. If you love the zingy flavors of authentic Mexican food, then you're going to love this. That can be in the comments. That could be in the comments. So we need to have Oriental rice bowl, and maybe have another little line that kind of summarizes both of these lines. So Oriental rice bowl, new, or try it, or something that's kind of simplifying the message a little bit. So here's another one. So there's a pizza place. We're having a pizza party. Care for a slice? Let's pizza and chill on. So once again, some of the stuff can probably go in the comments. So what I might even do is we're having a pizza party. So how about we're having, in one line, a pizza party on the other, just to kind of keep this center alignment going on so you don't have it stretched so far across. And I might even have, instead of having this background transparent, I might make it a little bit more solid, just so this is a little bit readable, because this yellow type, it's hard to read on the orange. And you also have this higher contrast blue. So just kind of simplifying the colors here a little bit would be really good. But the photo is nice and high contrast, and I like how that looks. So really great variety here with kind of how you're presenting. Make sure I didn't miss any. I think I got them all 5. Actually, there's 5 of them, just making sure I covered all of them. I think I did. But yeah, I like that one, this black one. That's really promising. I think that's probably your best one that you have. All right, so this is a little bit more detailed. This is from John. He's really good at branding, by the way. So this is kind of the branding. He did the logo too, so he kind of has a brand package and a social media presentation. So let's see if we can zoom out, kind of see this. I think the logo is great. We did some back and forth revisions based on comments from Facebook students, and I think he got a really good version in the end. So kind of some brand presentation here. Kind of showing the brand before we see the social media. So here's some Facebook branding. So let's take a look. So, okay, so you have your target audience thought about, which is really cool, because with targeted ads, you're not going to target everybody. You're going to be able to fine tune your target. So it makes sense to have a series of ads for different targets. So I think this is really smart. So female targeted posts. So this is for the females. We have, so this is just a unisex hair design. Shears and styles, so kind of listing the list of services, and you have kind of this hair. What I might even do, people really connect with faces, and I know you're showing long locks of hair, so I kind of understand your thought process, but from an emotional standpoint in social media, people really, really care about faces. So I would even get a close, tight shot of a woman with a beautiful haircut and make it still focus on the hair, but I want to see some eyes. I want to see a front face view. I think I would connect more than a woman who has her back face toward us. I think that I don't connect as well with the subject matter. And then just kind of like the male version, I think I resonate more with the male. This photo looks very authentic. I can see this being, a real photo snapped at the salon. It doesn't look perfect. It's not like one of those Pexels photos where it's this perfect model guy. He kind of looks like a real guy that's getting his hair cut, and I love that about it. We also have Instagram branding, which I think works really well. I kind of like the male, female kind of different, kind of grabbing them in different ways. Wow, you even have the stories in there. Ooh, I love that haircut. That's how you draw people, is those trendy haircuts. You know, especially the ones with the rainbows where they lift up their hair and they have the hidden rainbow coloring in it. I mean, this is where video would really come into play, as having that same woman kind of shake her hair and kind of reveal her highlights. And this is where video, you can do the same thing, but just replace it with a video. I think would look really good. But I like the Instagram story. All this is really, really well done. I love how you separated it by target market as well. So excellent, excellent job. So this is one of my favorites. I saw this and I was like, wow. I didn't think it was one of my students at first. I was just scrolling through my Facebook feed and I go, oh, that is a great example of a good social media post. And then I realized it was one of the students who posted it. I'm like, wow, it's incredible. So Jonathan did this one. And so what everyone else is appreciating about this ad is this contrast here. You have this photo, but it's cropped in a really special, unique way to be the hair. And I think this is the strongest draw of the ad. I stopped to look at it. So if I stopped to look at it, hopefully others would. And that's the whole point of a social media ad. And I think the only thing is with this is simplification. We could probably put that somewhere in the comments. Those little details like addresses, you can always link that in to the post. But I think everything else looks really good. I do lose the 50% off extended. So maybe putting that in a solid bubble and putting white text or something to kind of let that really stand out. Other than that, this is really clean and beautiful. And I thought just this whole idea of the illustration, this is the strongest part of the ad. I think it's super duper clever. It's definitely a contender for Best in Show. There's going to be a Best in Show winner for all this. A person who I think, and John is another contender. There's a lot of people I'm thinking of right now when I'm trying to think of who did the best overall social media posts based on engagement and contrast and typography and design and photos, all that kind of stuff. So let me know in the comments, who do you think should be the Best in Show winner as I go through all these. So we have a little bit left. We maybe have 12 or 13 different people left. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on Jennifer next. So Jennifer has some very sultry ads that really kind of bring your attention. So Be Unique, book now, uniquely view boudoir. So this is kind of this really interesting kind of take. So talk about having an emotional draw. I want to talk about this. I've mentioned it before about having photos and social media that really draw the viewer in. And a lot of times you have to have tight shots. That means close shots that feel more like you're next to the person. And I think they did a good job at photo choices in all three of these with really bringing out that draw. So Be Unique, book now. I'm enticed by this photo already. It's very sultry. So I think we have a couple of different options here. This kind of reveals more of the body and the legs and the lingerie. So that would be really kind of an interesting take. I think this is when you kind of figure out your target market and you do what's called A/B split testing, which means you run two ads at the same time using the same target demographic and you find out which one has the best click-through rates. So would this one work? Or this one work? Kind of a front view or kind of more of a overall body view? And this is where that A/B split testing will help you figure out your audience and what kind of photos that they are going to connect with. Because sometimes as a designer, we can try to choose ones that people are going to connect with, but sometimes we have to test our audience out and run some of these ads and figure out which one works better based on data. So this one I'm not quite as excited about. I think the other two were very sultry and sensual, and it really grabbed my attention. And the fact that the book now is right over kind of her feminine area, I think this would probably be good kind of brought up a little bit and maybe zoomed in a little bit more, kind of revealing her legs. I don't know. I'm just not connecting with this photo as much as I am these other two photos. And once again, A/B split testing would be able to kind of help you. I do appreciate the headline, how it's high contrast against the black, and I like the gold too. So good job, Jennifer. Really grabbed my attention with those. All right, so Jasmine has this really simple ad. And you think, oh, well, it doesn't have texture and all these exciting things. It's not very exciting. But I find it very clean and professional and high-end. So if your audience is going to be, if this is a higher-end place to buy stuff, then I think she hit her target audience. Very clean. If you ever look at Pottery Barn or Williams-Sonoma or those kind of higher-end kind of retail places, they tend to have very simple backgrounds. This is a solid off-white, which I love the off-white, by the way, this off-white color. This is exactly how they kind of formulate the ads, because they know that's what people appreciate, is this clean, professional look. It doesn't look junky, doesn't look messed up. It's very simple. So I like that. Just make sure you check your spacing. It looks like there's an extra space right about here, so just check your spacing. I might even just bold the URL just to kind of bold it, but don't make it bigger. I think this is great. Very simple, nice typography going on. Nice color choices. All right, so Jane, we have a badminton group, and I think a couple people in the Facebook group commented and said the first thing they saw was bad. They didn't see badminton, and I have to be the first one to admit that I saw bad first. So I thought, badminton. What's badminton? And then I read your comments. Oh, badminton club. So I think badminton is a hard word to separate because it is a very unique word. It's not one that we use very often in the English language. So I would probably, and it's going to be hard to keep it all one word because you're not going to have this beautiful block of type that you have here. So what you could do, is you could kind of have this stacked thing where you have bad, min, ton. So it kind of reads a little bit more across, but it's still broken up. I think that would help people kind of not see it as bad first. But the layout's good. Second floor, some of this stuff can probably be moved to the comments so you can keep it clean. But maybe every Tuesday might be important, so this could probably be brought up somewhere up top. Lowercase lettering, I don't like wide spacing between lowercase lettering, so tighten up the spacing or just make it all caps. I think this would look good as all caps up at the top. So here is another vertical version. I think that adapts well. I kind of like these little shapes kind of popping out. I would just make sure that her racket is viewable, and the other one, okay, her racket is viewable, so that's good. So I kind of like it darker. You know how she has this kind of look right here? I think that would look good here too as well, as long as it doesn't look too busy. All right, Gina Lambert. We have a couple of different ones from her, from Gina. Okay, your special day deserves a special cake. Cakes by Shannon. Great logo size. I think that looks really good. I like the two-tone. I think what you could probably do to simplify this is I almost wonder if you either got rid of the border or if you made this white and made the type blue. I'm not sure. I just trying to test the waters here. There's something about this photo that's cropped that ends. It'd be nice to see this photo go all the way to the edge. It might look a little bit more clean if you kind of get rid of that extra border all the way around, because you already have kind of some lines going on here. You don't want to have too many lines and borders at the same time. So I think the headline could probably be tighter. So just a little bit, and not super tight. You don't want the type to touch or anything, but just connecting that, because it has 5 different lines of type. So you really want to make sure that stays together as a unit, so tightening the space. Or put A after deserves. So your special day deserves A, and you get to eliminate that and move special right up there. So we have National Cake Day. Your special day deserves a special cake. So what I might do here, instead of having these different borders and boxes, kind of have this clean look where you have kind of some equal divided boxes here, just to kind of clean it up a little bit. Or you can have kind of one that's really kind of your showstopper one, and then maybe have, one here, one there, just something like that, just to kind of make it layered and stack it a little bit, kind of like you have now, but maybe make that center one a little bit bigger, or one you think would be the big attention grabber. Because when you have 5 different photos that are all the same size, you have an issue with a focal point. You have too many equally sized photos to look at. You're not giving your viewer a chance to break it all down. So making one of these bigger over the other and having some hierarchy in terms of size might really help this ad look a little less busy. And I think we're good there. Just kind of taking a look at this. Just make sure your logo, if you have to change colors to make sure it looks good on the white as well. So here's another one. Ooh, this is nice. I would condense your headline a little bit, so your special day deserves a special cake. You can have that a little bit more condensed. I'd make this photo even bigger, because you have all this empty space. It'd be nice to draw people in with that photo. But I kind of like the colors and layout of this the best so far that I've seen. So good job, Gina. Now let me take a sip of water. Elizabeth Richardson is next. So let's see what she has for us. So this summer, okay, so I remember this. She actually ran these ads and they were pretty successful. So that's also really exciting. I love the script typeface here. Usually I'm not a big fan of scripts, but there's some script typefaces that are on trend that look really good. And I think that this font pairing is really lovely. And let me reduce this size here so I don't have such a big pen there. Organic cotton feels better. Sleep cooler, feel better, very simple. Notice how they just have 3 simple things on here in a photo. And they're bringing out the green here from the photo. It's just really simple and nice. Same thing with here. We kind of have the same thing, but with kind of a lighter color. And for this one, this is the one I think you said worked really well. I think I have a couple different versions of this. So this summer, sleep cooler, feel better. I would just probably, I don't know, I think I like this a lot. I just close the gap a little bit between the type, and I think you'll be good to go. These are really, really well done. And this is the one I thought looked really good because people are connecting with people. So images of people are really, really, it doesn't mean you have to use an image of a person, but I think that's what people on Instagram and everything, they were just looking at people all the time. People, places, and food. So if you can have one of those things on there, you're going to grab people's attention. So I think this works better than having, you still have the pillows, you still have the product, but you also have this emotional draw with the person as well. So I think this is probably the strongest of all of them because I connect better with the woman. Okay, next, Ikram. All right, so this is, I don't have it labeled as a YouTube or a Facebook, but I'm going to assume it's a Facebook. And I asked them what it was advertising, and I can't recall. I have about 50 submissions, so I'm trying to remember everything everybody has said. But from a design standpoint, I like this. I think you could probably get rid of this little tree graphic in the background and just have it be simple geometric shapes and the woman, and you're bringing out the colors here. So you have this blue and blue connect and the red connect. So color-wise, it's perfect. Your typography looks good. I'm not quite sure what it says, but I'm sure it just looks good even from someone who doesn't understand the language. It looks like it's good typography. But yeah, totally get rid of that background image. You don't need it. The whatever, the vine or the tree, go ahead and get rid of that because I think you have some nice simple geometric shapes that look really, really good. So I'm gonna have to move a little bit faster because we're starting to run out of time. I'm going to go ahead and load these in from Eden. So here is her collection of a mixture of Instagram. She has an Instagram story and she has some Facebook posts as well. So spring collections, new arrivals. This is very on trend. I like this geometric shape overlapping her face. I kind of like the circular treatment of the type. I think that looks really good. Explore the collection. The only thing is just making sure maybe there's another photo, small photo here, maybe very tight zoomed in shot that shows another photo of the collection because we want to show off the collection, right? So what else is in the collection? You might have another Instagram story slider that comes after this that would have that. So if you do, I apologize. I'm just trying to really make sure we show off what is in the collection, what exactly is in the collection. So this looks really good. I love this background texture. This is another part of the story, so swipe up for more. Out now in 2020. If this is part of a series, if this is all part of the same series, this looks really, really good. Everything is thematic with that same kind of tan color and photo choices. So sale 30% off happening now, so shop now. What I might do is you have kind of this photo ending right here and you have this kind of type overlapping. I know a lot of people like to overlap kind of the boxes and the type. What you could do, just bring that down and have happening now right here, just so that doesn't fight because it's such a strong line there where the photo ends. And just making sure the sale 30% off is going to be, big enough. But I would zoom in more, a tighter shot of her. You could probably afford to zoom in just a little bit and still see the product. But I really love the theme of all these. They're all connected. I could tell the branding and the unifying theme that's connecting all these is really wonderful. So beauty edit. Here's an Instagram post. This is wonderful. I like how you're kind of taking advantage of the vertical space instead of just having all the type horizontal. You've kind of broken that mold and decided, hey, I'm going to go vertical with some type, and I think it works well. The fact that this kind of breaks the grid a little bit and kind of goes past this, it doesn't like perfectly end right there. I appreciate kind of you pushing the envelope a little bit and having some overlapping geometric shapes on top of the photo cropping. I think that looks really modern, and I like the way that looks. So wonderful job, Eden. Let's see what we have next. So Halloween party, I think this looks great. Really kind of grabs me. It gets right to the point. You have a nice focal point, which is right here. Your headline is nice and clean. It matches with the focal point. You have all of the stuff here. It looks great. I really have no qualms against this. This looks great. I wouldn't really say anything negative about it. You have a keto breakfast special. Is this all the same person? Just making sure I did that all in the same person. Okay, just making sure. So this is for a keto breakfast place, eggs, avocado, cherry tomatoes. What I would do is, once again, contrast can be your friend. So maybe instead of doing a little outline border, since you already have this border here, I would eliminate the border, just kind of simplify it a little bit. And I would make this a solid yellow and then put black for the type, just to kind of simplify the lines, because you have a lot of lines. So you have lines here, you got a couple lines inside, and you have lines on the outside. So just trying to find a way to simplify the amount of strokes that are used in the ad. Okay, so I like this better because you have this two-tone look. And so you probably just need this kind of wavy kind of border, and you probably don't need that other little border. Once again, simplification. Ooh, this looks nice. This has a nice clean feel to it. I wouldn't touch it much at all. I just maybe bring that percentage here to kind of line up with the 0, the 50. And other than that, I really like this. The typeface is really good. I would even lighten the background just a little bit right here because it's hard to kind of see the orange with the darker pole right there. So just like very, very small things. But overall, this is a really nice, clean look. I love the font pairing and type pairing here as well. So here's another version with the two-tone look. I think that is it. Let me just make sure. Pub party. Yep. All right, so David's next. David Rogers. Let's see what you have for us here. I think you have a series. I think the only difference is color. Yep, the only difference is color. So let's take a look at this green one. That's the brightest in my opinion. Mindfulness meditation retreat. Register now. So what you could probably do is, I think this is fine. Just as is. Maybe making that white might kind of help it because the darker color down here and the black kind of fight with each other. But I love the focus down here. I love the photo. This looks really, really good. So let's take a look at the other colors and see the theme. Nice photo choice here. That's really a nice photo choice. Let's take a look at the orange. Retreat, what I would do is kind of have more of a focus on the woman and maybe put her right about here. So you might need to crop the photo in a certain way or shift it around so that she's not getting too close to the type and fighting against it, but just kind of shifting her over to the right. But I love seeing a series. You can kind of test out the colors to see which one looks good, shake people up, and you have a similar look throughout, which is really nice. All right, Danielle, let's see what you have for us. Okay, so this is for a real client. She does the social media management. She doesn't do the design part, but this is based on a real client she has, so this is really cool that it's a real client. Award-winning wine since 2015. I've done a lot of wine design work. I worked for the Virginia Wine for a while, for 7 years, so I've done a lot of wine-related advertising. I've also done a couple of wine labels too. So it's a very different way to design because you have a really different target audience. Especially in the United States, you kind of have more of an older audience, and you have one that has a little bit of a higher income. Those who like to go to wineries and buy wine, they have usually a little bit of a higher income. So you have this kind of more elegant look that you have to kind of go for, and I think you kind of got it with this serif typeface and also the logo itself. So we kind of need, this is an Instagram post, so this would either be organic or it would be a paid ad. But we need to have kind of a so what. So we have award-winning wines. So what? So kind of a taste them today, come and see us. We have an event. We won an award. Like, what kind of award did you win? That'd be kind of nice to have that kind of stacked here and like white label whatever the award was. Be kind of nice to have that so what kind of statement answered. So this is for a Facebook event cover photo, so wine series, tank, and barrel tasting. And in my digital design masterclass, I talk about cover photos a little bit and sizes. And they have a cover photo that works on the desktop, which is wide like this. But on mobile, it actually gets cropped. And I'll have like a little template where you can make sure you know where it's cropped. So just making sometimes with cover photos, you have to keep your type very much in the center so it doesn't get cropped on mobile view on the event page. But other than that, kind of that elegant target audience that I'm used to targeting with wine industry stuff, this nails it with this beautiful typeface right here, very elegant. You paired it with a nice sans serif typeface, so you kind of have a nice font pairing here. Wonderful photo. I think this is a good, simple event cover photo. You don't want to put a lot on your event cover photo. I know you asked that question. As little as possible because you're going to be on an event page already. There's already going to be a title and a date on your event page, so there's no need to really put all that extra stuff on there. So this is perfect. Here's another one, and I think the type and the presentation of the bottle is fine. What I might even do is play around with the ideas. If it's a Cabernet Sauvignon and it's red, I would maybe find, that's a tough one, because I'm feeling we have these deep purple grapes and then the red, and they're just not quite combining, especially when it's fading here. So I'm not quite sure of a solution, whether it's make this a duotone grape and kind of have it go against the white, or have this be full color and not fade. I'm just not sure. I'm kind of thinking about that because there's something about this deep red of the Cabernet and then the kind of the more purple skin of the grape, which Cabernets are purple grapes. They're really red grapes, but when mushed up, they get that Cabernet color. So I kind of see what you're doing, trying to bring out the color, but there's something about how it fades here that I lose it, and I'm not quite sure what. But in terms of the presentation, it looks nice. And I think that's it for Danielle. So, yep, I did all four. So Claire is next. So I'm going to drag these in. So we're on the home stretch. We have Claire next. So let's take a look at Claire's. Ooh, very trendy, very modern. The colors are amazing. So really appreciating kind of how all this is arranged. So Be the Change, Shop Now. This is great, very fresh. And makes me the image is definitely grabbing me. I kind of like the border on this because it just kind of adds that really pop of orange that complements the photo inside. And you also have the orange that complements here. So this is really lovely. Let's take a look at what else you have. So this is probably a Facebook or some kind of horizontal post. So I like the photo how it is, and we have a lot of geometric lines and shapes here. So I almost wonder if we can simplify here. So we have vegan, cruelty-free. Some of this you're going to need to have, but you also have all of the different kinds of products here. So there's a lot on the ad. I almost wonder if the vegan, cruelty-free can somehow, I like how you have it divided. I'm just trying to think of a way to simplify it a little bit. I almost wish you can zoom in on the photo, but since it's a vertical photo and a horizontal ad, you're going to have some cropping issues. So I think just keeping it as is for now, just finding a way to maybe, if this is ever as a paid, if it's an organic post, you're fine. But if it's ever a paid ad, you're going to have to find something. You might have to put all that listed in the comments of the post, and then maybe put the vegan, cruelty-free over there, just because they don't allow too much type. I like this logo. I guess this is kind of the logo for it, and that looks really clean, beautiful. I have no qualms against that. Ooh, freeform. This is nice. Wonderful photo choices. I'm not sure where you got these photos. If you ever want to let us know, I'd love to know where you got them, or if you've taken them, or if it's a client photo. I just love this empty white space for some weird reason. I think it just makes it really clean, and this nice freeform right there. You're just kind of wondering what this is, and it looks nice. Make sure I got all of her posts. I know there's a couple that I didn't do, so just make sure. So she has, here's another one. Let me drag that in so I can locate it. So the text over the photo is fighting too much, so we probably need to put that in some kind of geometric box so that is as readable as possible. Great photo choices throughout. I think this might be the last one. So what I would do, you definitely need to simplify this. So perhaps, lip balm, face scrub, lotion bar. So I almost wonder if you could even do in Photoshop, you might be able to remove these two kind of limes and oranges, because you already have kind of a lime and orange up here, and that would give you some extra gray space. You could probably use the Content Aware tool or the clone tool to clone those out, and that will clean up your background so that you could put the lip balm, face scrub, lotion bar here on the already existing background, and that can clean it up a little, because we want to make sure that products first. So you don't want to put all the type over your product. These are your product images. We don't want to have too much type overlapping them. But overall, that's beautiful. I think that's really well done. Perfect. Okay, Christopher, come on down. You're the next contestant. So brand. So I guess that is just kind of the name of the brand, just kind of a filler for now. So brand, camping, hiking, and more. We got your pack, 25% off. Clean, clear, simple. I like it. We got your pack. So you kind of have this compelling photo with the sun rays kind of coming in, camping, hiking, and more. We got your brand. And that would be kind of the whatever the pack is. Or we got your brand. I guess they carry different brands, I guess is how it was. Let me go back to this one. So yeah, simple. This is effective. See how simple it is? There's not 5 lines of type. There's not 4 paragraphs. It's simple. And I would just tighten your drop shadow. That's just me being picky, is tighten that drop shadow a little bit closer to the type. And that's just my own little, because it kind of creates this kind of complicated look when you have it have a wider distance. Other than that, clean and simple. Great job, Christopher. Okay, we're almost done. So they were hesitant on posting, but I'm glad they did, because I think we can all improve with practice. You know, we all start at different skill levels, and I think it's really great to see all different skill levels represented. So they did the logo. I remember they said the travel agency and the Go. And this is probably a perfect candidate for trying to talk about special effects like outer glow and embossing and all these kind of things. I think what we can do is kind of strip all the effects away and just have simple type. So I think what you can do here, instead of, like, you have to have outer glow. Where's my mouse? You have to have, there it is. You have to have outer glow here on the red for it to stand out over the red background, but why not just simply make it a different color, and you don't need to use outer glow. And you don't need to use this little effect here, kind of the embossing pillow effect or the layering styles. Just take all that off. You don't need to have it, because you already have a photo, you have a logo, you have type, you have all this stuff going on. You don't need to add all these extra effects. Strip all those effects away. And also with your typography, you have all flights in a font, and then you have this and kind of stretched out. I would make it the same typeface, so all flights and this needs to be kind of the same typeface, so you're not having different typefaces and different effects. You just need to simplify what's going on, and like I said in the beginning of this video, simplification will be the theme throughout this entire critique for almost the majority of your submissions. And the website, you can eliminate that, because if it's a post, you're going to be able to just go right to it, or there'll be a swipe now button. Okay, this is a last minute submission, so I haven't had a chance to kind of take a look at it. But I love the clean look of the sky and the type. Very wonderful type choice here. This is a great ad. I wish I had it in higher resolution, but Facebook sometimes is not forgiving when it comes to downgrading images, so we'll have to figure out a way to get these higher resolution. But I think these look really good. This image looks like it was stretched when it was made smaller, so just make sure when you kind of change your image sizes that the dimensions stay the same, so you don't have kind of the stretching that happens, because they seem like they're stretched high compared to the one to the right. But see how simple this is? You got your logo up top, you have this nice clean sky with a nice clear headline, you have your people, and it works really well vertical, horizontal, and square, so it's adaptable. So this is a great example of a strong social media campaign. So well done. Okay, we have a few more left, almost there. So 2020, take your first step today, Volk. Up to 20% off all basic t-shirts. You know what's missing from this? Is, I guess, a t-shirt. You know, I'd love to kind of see. I have to read it to know I didn't know it was selling t-shirts until I got down to this bottom. Unless the shape is somehow the shape of a t-shirt, I'm not quite sure. But when you're selling a certain product, you have to put your product on there unless you're so well known that people know what your product is. Product photos and placement is very important. But the design and geometric shapes are fine. I have no problem with the typography and the design itself and the layout and the color choices. All solid, all great. I would just make sure people know right away when they see this. They don't have to be a detective. They can just know, oh, okay, they sell shirts and it's 20% off. Simple. You have 1 second to kind of capture people's kind of attention. So next we have Adil. Hopefully I didn't mispronounce your name, but this was one of my favorite ones when I saw it appear on my Facebook to approve the post. So this is a Where Would You Rather Be? This is a travel company, and I loved all these posts. I don't really have a whole lot of criticism because I enjoyed each one. I think, and it's funny because the social media or the digital design masterclass I'm coming out with next week actually covers a travel agency. So it's actually like your version better than the one we came up with in the class coming up next week. Simple logo. It doesn't have to be big and atrocious. Once again, do you see the high contrast button there compared? This is complementary colors, yellow and blue. Notice that, how that really pops out. Very simple headline and a nice compelling photo. So simple. And I love this splash here. Kind of gives it a splash of color. It really helps draw my eye to the headline. Where would you rather be? You have this kind of vibrant character with long hair and this beautiful blue shirt, and you just kind of wonder where he's at, and then you kind of see the background, and it's just so beautifully well done. And this logo, it doesn't have to be big. It's small, it's professional, it's subtle, it's nice, perfect size for this. And the colors are just so vibrant, you have to stop and look at it. And I love how it's a theme throughout. So the only thing is just making sure this little splash doesn't cover her face because the other two are clear and she has the kind of the orange splash face. But other than that, compelling photo. Where would you rather be? You could even make this a little bit higher. I know it's probably a blending mode, but make it a little, cover the background just a little bit more and kind of move the three girls so they're kind of like right there. Just so that splash of orange really helps to read the headline. And where would you rather be? I would just zoom in. I'll have just a slightly tighter shot on the people. You still want to see the boat too, so I know that can be a challenge doing back and forth. But really, this one is beautiful. That one right there and this one. This is a very strong example of a fantastic, definitely a runner-up for the best in show at least, a design. I was really captured by kind of the colors and the photo choices. So wonderful job. 3 more left. Okay, so this is actually a GIF. Let's see if it'll let me play it natively here. So let's take a look. Once again, I didn't see a lot of motion, but creating motion GIFs for Facebook ads, I've done a lot of research into it. It's more complicated than you think. There's definitely some easy tools to use. So you kind of have this animation, 50% off jackets, jumpers. I might slow down kind of the changing of the words maybe by, not even a second. Just slowing it down just like 20%. And I think you'll have something really, really good here. I like the motion and the cropping of the photo looks really good. So let's take a look at the other photo that they brought in. So there is the full kind of, that was the video I took. This is the full one. So ignore what I just showed you. This is the full one. This is the one they sent me. Perfect. This one's really good. So nice cropping. I like the border. Nice, sharp, high-resolution image. Of course, they emailed this to me, so everything looks really sharp. Fantastic. And we have this other version, coats and jackets, new collection. When it comes to script typeface, I have a hard issue with putting spaces between anything script because you have these script letterings that end, and then they have this sharp beginning again. So with script typefaces, I would tighten the spacing between the characters just a little bit, and maybe make new collection bigger. And Shop Now will probably be, it depends, if this is a display ad, you'll have to have your Shop Now button because they don't have anything else with a display ad. You don't have a post with it. It's static. But if this is social media, you could probably eliminate that and put the up to 30% off in that same box in the same style and be good. Just depends on where it's going to be placed. I think you said these are display ads, so you're going to have to keep the Shop Now button. But I like this to make new collection a little bit bigger, and I like this a lot. Well done. I love your animated GIF as well. So we have a YouTube ad. Top 10 garage hacks. I know a student made a comment that the orange color and the black made it kind of remind of Halloween. But that's a simple change of maybe changing the tone of the garage. But you're trying to bring out that garage grunge color, so I can kind of see why you went with the orange. You can always just go tan if that bothers anybody. But this is simple. When you have YouTube thumbnails, having this kind of big, bulky, thick, chunky typefaces works really well. And you don't want to put your full title either. So it's top 10 garage hacks for everyday use. You'd only want to put your first half of your title on your thumbnail. And we go over thumbnails a lot in the upcoming Digital Design Masterclass. We talk a lot about doing thumbnails. So this is simple and nice. I have no problem with it. All right, last one of the day. Styling tips. So I believe this is also correct me if I'm wrong, a YouTube thumbnail. And I like this a lot. I think he got a lot of positive feedback from here. The tips is a nice high contrast color. I would just make sure you have a kind of a busier background. I almost wonder if making him, I know I do this a lot, but you don't have to do this, making him black and white and bringing out the color of the background, or bringing out more rich colors of the person and kind of graying out the background. Just to kind of either have one or the other, because right now they're equally vying for my attention. The background and the man, similar colors. They're all trying to get me to pay attention. But I think if you screen back this background, the type will stand out a little bit better. But I love the type choice and how simple it is. You don't need to have all this extra crud going on. It's as simple, especially with YouTube thumbnails. So styling tips, but styling tips for who? You might want to just have like a little small thing that kind of just explains, okay, styling tips. What kind of styling tips? Who's it for? Is it just a generic video of styling tips, or just kind of having a little bit of a so what kind of line of description? You don't have to do anything very long. Is that it? Wow, look at all of these that we reviewed. There was at least 50 different people that participated in this challenge, and I'm so thankful to have each one of you as students, and so thankful you take your learning serious enough to participate in a challenge. It could take a couple hours to do this type of project, and so I really appreciate you taking it seriously. This is how you build your portfolio, is doing these challenges. I do one every month, so let me know what you want to do next. We did a digital project, maybe we do a print project next time. Logo design tends to be something everybody can appreciate, so we'll see kind of what can come next. Let me know who deserves the best in show. Just let me know who you think does that in the comments. I'm going to do a live premiere on Facebook and YouTube, so you can make some live comments during this video. So just say who you think really deserves that best in show prize. Not really a prize, but kind of an honor. And then there's also some honorable mentions that I'm going to post as well. So you guys did a fantastic job. Lots of skill levels represented here. Lots of different designers and styles and companies and industries you guys were designing for. Once again, thank you so much. If you have a chance, I would love it if you can do a review on any Skillshare or Udemy class you've taken. I would love to get a review. If you have a question on what class you should take next, just make sure you hop on over to my page, which is lindsaymarsh.myportfolio.com. You can always find Udemy discount coupons and also Skillshare stuff as well if you ever want to find a discount on a course. But if you're ever interested to know what class you would need to take next, just let me know, and I will gladly be able to make a recommendation for you guys. So I look forward to seeing you. I'm going to pull up all these videos that are going to be in the next week big launch of my Digital Design Masterclass for graphic designers. It's not going to be for web developers. It's going to be for you guys as graphic designers to know what you need to know to be successful in all things digital. And I mean all things. So YouTube thumbnails, social media campaign, ebook cover, digitizing sketches, icons, app store icons, website landing pages, and even WordPress. So I'm really excited to launch all of these lessons. There's a good 10 hours worth of content here. So I will send out coupons to everybody, to all my students, so make sure you get that launch coupon, because it only can last, I think, for a few days on Udemy, and on Skillshare it'll be available to Skillshare students as well. So thank you so much again, and I will see you for the next campaign.